You told me I could trust you, don't die. I could really use it.
Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's the one, the only Mimi here. If you're new here, make sure you go ahead and click that red subscribe button to join my squad. So we're back again with another client horror story. So let's go ahead and get into it. It happened when I was pretty much settled in my salon suite in my area where I am now, and this had to be like in the mid of the year, towards the end, like kind of like September, when stuff was still hot, you know, but it was kind of cooling off, or maybe it was October, one of those. And this is when I was more stricter with my policies. This is when I was, you know, I incorporated the deposit fee that you had to pay and the late fees that you had to pay. Like I learned from my lessons before, and I'm not about to do it again. So this day, I want to say this was like a Friday or a Saturday, one of those days, and I had someone earlier in the day, and then I knew I had someone later in the day. So I was finishing with the one that I had earlier with the day. I was setting up and cleaning up everything so it could be ready for my last person. She was coming at like 5:30 something, and I was like, okay, cool, like a little evening job, a little evening session, a little evening appointment. And normally I like morning appointments more than like evening appointments, because sometimes I like morning appointments and then afternoons and then I can go. But you know, the evenings you gotta stay and be getting dark, and like you already know. Setting up, I'm walking around because my place is in a mall, so I'm walking around the mall, getting a little snack here, getting a little snack there, window shopping. I always like to check the beauty supply store because I'm a beauty supply store fiend, so that's just what I do. The girl's appointment, we're gonna call her Samantha. So Samantha's appointment was probably like at like 5:30, 5:45, you know? It was like a cool little time when everybody was coming home from work and doing what they do, you know? At this time, a lot of people were working from home, so that's why I saw a lot more people. So 5:30 comes, I send out a little text message telling her, you know, hey, let me know if you have trouble finding my suite, and I give her directions how to get there, because it can be confusing, and I understand. So like I try to help as much as I can. She already paid her deposit, she already knew about my policy, she already knew about the late fee, she already knew about the 15-minute grace period, this, that, and the other. So she already knew, she was well aware of what was going on. And her service that she booked, it was just a silk press, okay? It was a silk press and I believe a trim. Yeah, so she was telling me how she was new to the area and how she was having a little bit of trouble finding the place, and like she sent me a screenshot of where she was, and I had no idea where she was. Like I literally did not know where that street was. So the person who I always call is my mom, so I sent her screenshot to my mom, and I was like, where is this? And she was like, oh, that's nowhere near where your salon suite is. And I was like, oh, okay. And mind you, she texted me at like 5:40, and your appointment is at like 5:45. So I'm like, okay. So I told her like, hey, I'm not sure if you're at the right address. So I sent her my address again. I was like, it's inside of a mall. You're gonna see like this big building, and it's literally, that's the mall. Like it's like a shopping center area or whatever. So she didn't respond, and I didn't hear anything from her. At 4:45, I didn't hear anything from her. Like she didn't respond to my message. And then it was like 5:50, and you know I give a 15 minutes grace period. So the 15-minute grace period came and went, and at that point it's a late fee. So I think I waited for her at like, it was like 6:30, and at that point I just left. Like I left and I was getting ready to go home, and like at the end of the day, you know, you never responded, late fee, cancellation, all of that. Like I don't know what you want to do. There's no communication. So when I'm walking, literally about to step outside of the mall, I get a notification like, hey, I'm here. And I was like, you do know that your appointment was at 5:45. It's now 6:30. And she was like, yes, I know, I'm really sorry. I tried to get here as much as I can. But when she texted me that she was leaving, it was literally 5:40. And she was like, she can't find it. So that means you waited until 5:40 to leave your house, and you knew your appointment was at 5:45, and you knew this was kind of like rush hour traffic. So I just didn't really know what to say. So she was like, I'm literally outside of your salon suite And she, you know, she was begging for me to come back. So I was like, you do know that this is going to be an extra fee because it's 6:30 now. Your appointment was at 5:45. And she was like, yeah, she understood or whatever. So I did end up coming back, and I kind of had like a little attitude, but I know how to like not channel that into my work. I know how to not channel that towards the person. Like, I'm always friendly, I'm always professional, I'm always just, you know. So I knew that there was no time to play. Like, I had to get this done because I really did not want to stay there all of that time. Like, at the end of the day, I'm a mother. I wanted to be with my baby. Apologizing when I came, and I was like, you know what, no worries, it's fine, let's just go ahead and do your hair. So I'm like taking my stuff out again, setting up the barbicide again, because at that point I had cleaned up everything. I'm like, oh, she's just not gonna come. So I am doing that. I'm setting her up, I'm draping her up, and you know, she's like very apologetic, and she was like, she didn't want to be one of those clients, and she didn't want to be you know, she didn't want to basically interfere with me in my life. Like, she was very nice about it, very apologetic, like, you know, very just, yeah, like, those are the clients that, you know, I respect. Like, she can still come till this day if she wants. So you know, we're talking about her hair, we're talking about what she wants in a hairstyle. You know, she said that she was new to the area, so like at the end of the day, I did understand or whatever. But you know, appointment time is appointment time. Like, you got to be on it, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm always on it. Like, I'm never late to my appointments because there's no excuse for me to be late to my appointments. You know what I'm saying? So like, as me as a hairstylist, there's no reason for me to be late unless there's an emergency or something that I've already communicated with my client. But I literally live close to my salon suite, so that's why I'm like, it's never nothing for me to get there. But I do understand emergencies happen. I do understand traffic. I do understand, which is why we got to communicate. So we're going over to the shampoo bowl. I'm giving her a nice shampoo, and she's complimenting me how I'm doing a good shampoo, and how she was recommended by somebody, and how they raved about my shampoo. Now, the shampoo that I do is not really, I mean, I wouldn't say it's something, but I mean, like, hey, go ahead, brag about it. What I do is I have a shampoo brush, and the silicone bristles is what really like makes it soothing, really gets in there, really breaks down the dirt, debris, and everything. It's really going to scrub your head really good. Like, people say it feels amazing. Sometimes they go to sleep, sometimes they just close their eyes. Like, I let them do what they do, and I scrub really good. Yes, I use my fingertips, but the brush, I feel like it's more hygienic, and I feel like it's more like it gets in it more, and it's silicone, so it's not like anything is going to have bacteria on it or grow in it. And then I always sanitize, disinfect everything, so we don't have to worry about that. So I'm washing her hair, I'm giving her a nice little conditioning, and then we're detangling a little bit. So then I towel dry her, bring her back to my other chair, and now we're getting ready for the blow dry part. Now, her hair was pretty much like a 3C-ish, not really, 3C or 3B. She had long hair, and it was thick when it was curly, but when it was flattened out or blow dried out, it was a little bit thin. But it was very beautiful curls. I love curls, and like, she had like a previous color on it, so it was like really beautiful. So I'm blow drying her hair, and she was like, wow, like, I've never had a blow dry like this before. You know, people always just kind of rush through the blow dry process. And I was like, you know, the products that you use for a silk press and your blow dry process is really going to affect how your silk press looks. So if you use like just any product and you don't really do a good job blow drying, your silk press is not going to look how you want it to look. Like, it's not going to have that body, it's not going to have that silk press look. So that's what I was explaining to her. Like, I'm always teaching my clients and explaining things to my clients, because you never know when they're gonna be locked down again and they're gonna need to do their own hair. So I always try to recommend products, take home products, this, that, and the other, so that they know how to take care of their hair. They know how to maintain their hair at home. They know how to replicate the style at home, just in case anything happens and they would like to do it. There's no excuse to not know how to do your own hair. You know, hairstylists and going to a hairstyle, that's a luxury. Or like, if you really don't feel like doing your hair, you know, you can do that, and like you have the funds to do that. But there's like no excuse to not know how to do a little bit of something, you know what I'm saying? So that is where I come in, and I do teach how to maintain the upkeep and do all of that. Like I like teaching, but I'm not a teacher, if that makes sense. But yeah, anyway, blow drying process, and now we're gonna do like the silk press. Now I do notice with her hair that she had like different textures in her hair. So she said mainly like in the crown part she had a tighter curl, and then everywhere else it was like that looser curl type of look. And I asked her about that, and she says she doesn't know, it's always been like that. So I'm like, okay. You know, we always have different textures throughout our hair. We never just have one solid texture throughout our hair. Like, it's always different curl patterns all throughout our hair. Now, I think a lot of people don't really know that, but like, it's completely normal. Like, I have it too. Like, it's okay. But I think I have it because of heat damage. But we're not going to talk about that. All right. So I'm doing the silk press, and she wants these nice bouncy curls. So I'm using my flat iron to do the curls, and I love when I do like silk presses with like the flat iron curls. Like, it's so beautiful. It makes your silk press pop. That's a tip if you ever want to do a silk press. Always add some curls. They don't have to be super tight curls. They can be like loose curls, something that's gonna like fall out and look nice, because like the curls always make it look nice, especially if your client is like really adamant about not having a trim. You can always just add like curls so it can kind of hide the split ends. Now, I always try to suggest to my clients to get a trim, even if it's an inch or an inch and a half. You need a trim. A lot of them are really adamant about keeping that split ends, because they think, oh, I grew my hair out so long, blah, blah, blah. But you're growing split ends. Like, the split ends, if you don't cut them, they'll travel up the hair shaft, and you want to cut as you go, or it's gonna go all the way up and it's gonna be a hot mess. So like, I try to encourage my clients to at least get an inch off, because it's not worth to damage your hair over some length, over some dead length. That's what I like to call it, dead length. And a lot of them, they get really emotional, and I know hair is emotional, but at the end of the day, you want what's best for your hair. And if getting a trim here and there every time you come to your hair appointment will help your hair grow even more, or just help it be healthy overall, then why not do that? But she let me do a little trim on her, and it was cool. So I'm doing little curls, I'm doing this and doing that. And like I said, her hair was long, so it did take me a little while to do her hair, because it just depends. Like, if your client has a lot of hair, or if she has a little thin hair, it's going to take you either longer or shorter. It's all good. But you know, I kind of wish that we started at 5:45 when her appointment was, compared to like 6:30, 6:35. But that's whatever. And I know a lot of people wouldn't have taken her. A lot of y'all would have probably left or whatever. But like I said, like, I really take passion in my craft. Not saying other people who would have left or whatever don't take it, but me personally, I love what I do. I love, you know, doing hair. I love doing nails. I love doing lashes. I love doing everything beauty related. And I love transforming people and having them be like, oh my god, wow, I love it. Like, I love the reaction and stuff like that. And you know, I just try not to be difficult when it comes to situations. And like, if I'm the person's last hope or whatever, I'll be a nice person and I'll do it. Like, yes. So she did say that she was very grateful and thankful that I did take her, because she was literally going on a trip the next day. And of course, she tipped heavily because she was very appreciative, and I was appreciative of her. And that just goes to show, like, sometimes you never know what's going on. So you just gotta be, you know, everybody's human at the end of the day. But I know a lot of like my hairstylist friends, they was like, oh, I wouldn't have taken her, oh, she would have to reschedule this, that, and the other. And I was like, yeah. But considering the fact that I was still in the mall and she was still there, it was nothing for me to just to go back downstairs and take her, okay? Like, I'm a nice person. I'm a decent person. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. And her hair looked bomb. She was satisfied. Like, it was great. Like, 10 out of 10 experience. I don't know if this was like a horror story for you guys, or if it was just, I don't know. But go ahead, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And if you like more client horror stories, leave a comment down below, like, and I'll see y'all when I see y'all. Bye. Mwah.